Okay, I'm at another doctor's appointment. It seems like everybody's trying to get their doctor's appointments in by the end of the year because of all the price increase in the insurance and everything. Mine, it was, okay, not only was it 66.5, was it? And let's say 67% because I didn't know the exact amount of what it was in the past because I didn't pay anything for it. Zero amount. Okay, zero. And I'm trying to avoid Adam. Keeps getting closer and closer. But anyway, zero amount. Here you go. So from, I guess, if I'm doing the math right, if it's 67% what the insurance company increased it, then that woman just hit my car with her big old purse. But if it's 67%, my SUV, 67%, and I never paid anything, so then I'm going to be paying 167%, right? I paid zero. I paid zero. Okay, now I haven't called him yet. Adam says, hold off calling him. I don't think he wants to pass out, but I'm going to pay it, Although if I find out if my doctor gets other insurances, and that's the part that is all messed up. That has always been the part that's messed up. I used to work for surgeons actually, but since in trying to find doctors that are in network, that's the crappiest stuff. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go in. Okay, I'm home. Man, that was fast. It was like wow fast. The doctor came in like almost right away, and he was in such a rush, and then he said something that I was going to suggest to him. I didn't want to take any more tests. I wanted to get toward treatment. That's exactly what he said. It just shocked me so much because I have been waiting all year. I've been waiting my lifetime for treatment for my rare health condition, and all they want to do is run test. And I actually did say, he was saying it the same time I was saying it. So that the test that he already did showed it, and I was about to tell him I don't need to take another one because it's already been proven. I mean, I have a rare health condition I had since, pardon me on that, my throat's getting all kind of weird. But I've had a rare health condition and since I was young, since I was a kid. Because I had the symptoms of it when I was 10 years old. Okay, I had the symptoms of it really before I was in kindergarten. But nobody noticed. Yeah, and I was never diagnosed until I was 30-something years old. Yeah, so anyway, it was kind of weird. The whole thing was a little bit weird. Because he was saying he's going to check in to see which medication I need and all that. But then the exit papers, they call them discharge papers in the hospital, and they call after visit summary. When you go to the doctor, I've never gotten this kind of thing from a doctor's. And every place you go to, urgent care, no matter what, they're going to give you like discharge papers, but they call them different names. So yeah. And they did say I had to look. Well, maybe they do have the medication on here. Well, my blood pressure was really low for me. When I go into the doctor's office, I have what you call white coat syndrome, but I guess I've gotten used to it because I've seen so many doctors, and seen so many doctors, and I've been back and forth that it doesn't affect me anymore because it was 118 over 64. That's really, yeah, that's not high. It's definitely not high. So, okay. Remember I said he was so busy? One of the things that they shot me out of there so fast was that I was thinking, shouldn't they have made the prescription, put it on this these visit summaries. The guy told me that the new medication's on there. It's not. I just looked it through it. You know, the guy that checked the checkout desk, you know, they print up that visit summary, and he said that it's on the second page. No, my older ones are on the second page. And plus I'd gotten a pain medication when I was in the hospital a few days ago because it was for pain. Yes, I went ahead and said, okay. The first she asked me, I said, I don't need anything. And I've never had any in 20-something years. And they put on there, they also put some kind of spray for if there's a OD. And the pharmacy had told me when I called him, or he called me back, and I said, I don't even know why that is there. I mean, I wasn't thinking, I mean, I did at the same time, but what? You know? I don't know. I don't like having stuff on my record because then they judge you by that. And now I'm going to be judged every time. It's judgment enough. I'm serious. One of the things I don't like going to doctor's offices because of, or anything, is they're going to find something to judge you on. That's my experience. I'm saying you and I mean me. But there's always something they're going to judge me on. And that this has never been the case because I haven't had any in 25 years. So it's not this that they're judging me on. It's just anything. You know, like I was at the doctor's office, I was in the ER, and something kept tickling my nose, and I'd asked to have my purse so I, you know, can get a Kleenex out of it. You know, they said, we have to put this over here right now. And never thought to give it to me, okay? And the doctor came in, and you know, how something tickles your nose, you're going to like try to get it, you know, not pull on your nose like some people do. You just, you know, put your finger on your, not even, you know, it's just brush it off like you would anything, brush. Like if you had something tickling your cheek, you just brush, you know. And I did it just brush because it was something automatic. And the doctor didn't like that I did that. I don't give a flying fig what you think. You know, I mean, something, it was not me consciously doing it, okay? I'm not making a video. I'm not delivering anything. I'm in a hospital, ER, and something brushed, you know, on my nose. It really felt like a feather, practically. You know, or a really, you know, like the gown that I was wearing, maybe, you know, a little fiber or something come off of it. Something tickled my nose, automatic. He didn't like that. Oh, seriously. You know, what is wrong with these people? I'm serious. The only people I have any really big problem with these days are these, when you go to a doctor's, when I say you, I mean me, when I go to these doctors, there's always something they want to, like they're going to level the playing field, and it's not even level. They're going to put up erect a totem pole, and me, the patient's going to be on the bottom. Okay, and I'm a social and behavioral scientist. I was a career student over 20 years because I wanted to know what I really wanted to know what I know, and I do. So I'm judging this by my education. They are doing this. This is something. You know, Adam he never did have problems until more recently, though. More recent years. I think he just had one doctor, and he thinks he is a friend with that doctor. He thinks, you know, and he's been with him 20 years or something like that, and he never had any other doctors. Now he's seeing other doctors because he's older. He's older than I, and he's not liking it. And he was always saying, "Oh, you're making I'm not making this crap up." And now that he's seeing it himself with his own doctors. Yeah, he's not liking it. And I said, welcome to my world. This is what I've been putting up with all these years. And not really putting up with it. What are you going to do? You know, I've already had 3 cardiologists because I don't like them. I haven't liked any of them. Don't lie to me. When I ask you a direct question, a closed question requires a yes or no answer, I don't want to hear BS. I almost said it. I don't want to hear this, you going around and skirting, and I'd recommend it. I don't care. Of course you'd recommend it. You make money off of it. I don't want to hear this stuff. I don't want to have one doctor, my PCP, say, oh, that's a good thing. This is improved. And I asked, it is about cardio, and I asked, right after the same day, these were both telemeds, and I said, and he said, oh, then nothing has changed. I said, well, then what's this, basically? I'm paraphrasing, shortening the whole situations, but, so then what's this? Well, it's, that could be anything. No, you're a liar. Adam was with me when I went into the one in visit. That was a televisit, but Adam was with me, and he didn't like the guy. In fact, I'm going to tell you one part of it. At the end of that visit, Adam was with me in this small room. The guy stood too close to me. He's my age. He stood way too close. And when we left from there, I really didn't want to say anything to Adam. You know, Adam was there right in the room. And I was just feeling uncomfortable. I said, I didn't like that. He was standing too close. I worried, you know, it was too close. But I didn't put it that way. I put it in a way like, it was just something I was worried about. And I was not feeling right. You know what I'm saying? So the words I was actually speaking weren't really how I was feeling. Does that make sense? And it was uncomfortable. It was, he should not have done that. He should not have stood so close. And that's when I was sitting on the table and he walked up to me. He was way too close. And when Adam didn't say anything then, but later on he did. He said that he didn't like it either. He said, I saw how it is. But Adam, it takes him, you know, we've had some weird situations since last year with these doctors. It takes him about a day before he can talk about stuff. You know, that's what I noticed. We never had these problems before. Never. That we have now. You know. Okay, when I say we haven't had these, I keep turning that on, and it's probably making the AC on, and my phone is up against the, it's placed on the air vent. Oh my God. It's just, I've got so much going on. Oh my goodness, I cannot remember everything. So much with mine, with his. These are just doctor's appointments. I had to buy a whole planner, you know, Planner, not planter. Planner in, you know, for this year. Just because of all these crazy appointments and the rescheduling, the doctors, not just doctors, the providers keep rescheduling. And of course it shows up that they call and they say, the doctor's not going to be in that day, we need you to reschedule. And I asked one of them, I said, are you putting in there that it was the doctor that rescheduled? And she said, well, we have to mark why we called. I said, but no. It doesn't show up. I said, I'm saying this because I was accused by somebody when I first got on this plan. So I told her, I said, I was accused of rescheduling twice, and I had never rescheduled. And I said it was the provider who rescheduled. I said, I want to know, you know, are they saying that it's the providers who's rescheduling? Of course not. She said, well, we have to put why we called. Well, that's not answering the question. I don't like people who give indirect answers. You know, they're not giving direct answers. They're not answering the question. After my experience in 2023 with going to a hospital, not this hospital, but not with this group, I didn't have insurance there, and they would not answer anything, nothing, absolutely nothing. Adam was with me one time. He said, did they ever say anything? That, yeah, you know, he meant about what's going on. They would not answer me. Refused to answer. Crickets. You know? And after that, I've been, you know, speaking of that, you know, that little fuzz that flies in the air, one just flew and landed on my arm. That kind of thing. You know, you're sitting there and you can see stuff flying in the air. I don't know. I'm just so tired. I am so tired of this. And then I was asking Adam, and earlier in this, I said, wouldn't I be paying 167% high? He said, no, that's not what it is. He pays attention to all this. And he said it was going to be probably like 300 or something. Not because of the math. I was doing the math right, I think. But what I didn't know is what, because this is still going to be there, but that's not going to be there. Whatever is the case, I was looking at paying, how much was it again? Yeah, something like, right at $1,600, wasn't it? That's what I was looking at paying a month. A month. Not a year, a month. So, and I was going to have to do it. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Talk to y'all in another video.